Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Scottish Falcons HQ. And whether you're Clydeside, Stateside, or worldwide, it's time to not rise up, get set for episode 47 now of the Scottish Falcons show. And the last one of season one officially, because my internet seems to be behaving itself. Fingers crossed. Touch Harry Wood, all that good stuff. But there's a lot of stuff to get into tonight, and I'm looking very much forward to doing it with my co-host with the most. He's had a lot to put up with me this season, and he's still here. So we've got to give the man his flowers. The Dynamo of the team, Des Stevenson. And Des, how are you feeling tonight, my brother?
Good, mate. Good. I've got to say, mate, for the man that's got the worst internet in the world, I think we've done all right. So, so we've got there, mate. As you can tell by the hat, I'm not thinking about the Super Bowl, mate. I'm thinking about the baseball season starting. So. I've got the old Atlanta Braves hat on, so I'm really looking forward to that. Put this season behind us. There was so much expectations, and it was so disappointing. So looking forward to the baseball. What I would say is I think it's been quite an exciting week. With everything that's been going on, our quarterback has spoken. And we can go into that as well later on, mate. But obviously the benefit you've got at the Super Bowl is you have this called that you've got. It's called Radio Row, and literally everybody just appears and gets interviewed with 100,000 reporters. So you get loads of interviews. So you've had Matt Ryan there, you've had Michael Penix Jr. there. Obviously, Ian Cunningham has been unveiled, and you've had his interview, and it just seems to be it's all coming together, mate. And I had my issues about Stefanski, but what I would say is Matt Ryan came out and said in one of his interviews that the benefit that Kevin Stefanski had was that he could put together a good staff, and he would bring in a good staff. And when you look what we brought in, it looks really, really good, mate.
Yeah.
And again, when you look at all the players we've got, and you look at Seattle Seahawks, and you just think, I mean, will we be the Seattle Seahawks next year, mate? Will this season be us turning it around and getting all the way? As I say, I can't say enough how much I love this team, mate, and it's always disappointment, but I always get my hopes up, and it's I'm excited, mate. I just wish at the end of probably the last couple of games, I was thinking to myself, I want this season over, and I can just chill for 6 months. Now the season's over, it's like I want the football back. So there's a lot to be excited about, mate. I would say that
for sure. And I mean, you know what it's like. We are a team who deals in temperance. So you won't find much sandstone in our granite when it comes to the Falcons now, as in you can't really show us much that we haven't seen. We're acclimatized to just about everything at this point, but you can't help, as you say, Des, because of how passionate we are, just being it's almost Stockholm syndrome into being excited again. But I've seen a lot of good things, and that's something we'll talk about. As I say, going to split it into kind of the coaching interviews and the staff interviews, and then we'll talk a little bit about obviously what QB1 has to say. But it's an exciting time in Atlanta. As I say, we've retained who I thought we had to retain in my book. We've improved a lot of the guys that needed improved, and with staff who have some tenure as well. I'm especially happy with the Callahan hire because, as I say, we've got a young tackle we need to develop and good stuff like that as well. And we also have a special guest for you tonight. He's making his AFNI and Scottish Falcons debut, but you'll know him from around the ways. Father of Fresh Football Talk, and a close friend of the channel. And we hope, as I say, that he'll be one of our frequent flyers, and this won't be the last time you'll see him. But Jermaine, brother Fresh, good to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us. Glad to have you.
What's going on, man? My guys from across the pond. What's good, my
Was
brothers?
good.
What's good? Yes, sir.
As,
Looking
How's it
forward
going? How's
to it,
it
man.
going?
as we say in
Yeah,
Scotland, what's happening?
What's good?
what's
Good.
happening? It's been all going down this week, brother. You know it. You know it. But no, as I say, just before we really get into everything, as I say, the specifics. As you're the new blood, just let everybody know how you feel. I mean, it's been a disappointing season, but with the new staff coming in, how are you feeling about it all? Fresh, obviously, we've got a new offensive coordinator, all that good stuff, new head coach, a new ethos. And maybe even a new slogan, because as I say, me and Des are sick of rise up, and we know for the group chat you are too. So I mean, give us some of your thoughts about how you're feeling at the moment, Fresh.
For me, I love the hire. Nothing but experience. You got a 2-time coach of the year. All this team needed was a coach that knows what he's doing. You have the talent now. You have the players. You just need the coach. And it's unfortunate for Terry Fontenot, but I do understand like why he had to be let go right along with Raheem Morris. Just certain things was underperforming and just underwhelming, but he did get a couple things right. Our players, and he got our cap situation right. So heading to this new regime, they all have one sound mind, one sound vision, and that's all you can ask for right now. I'm gonna really judge the coaching staff when we get on the field. That's when I'm gonna really just let my judgment of the coaching staff happen, because we can be excited for everything now, but until it happens on the field, we don't know what we're getting.
Yeah, and you know what this fan base is like. Winning's going to fix a whole lot, but right now we're all just at the stage where we're speculating and hoping for the best and preparing for the worst. You know how that all goes as well. But and what were your thoughts, Des? I mean, we the Cunningham hire as well. I mean, he seems like he's coming in from Chicago, knowing what he's doing. Um, as I say, with Matt Ryan, you've got the clear chain of command now, so we know that everything runs through him. Obviously, he's going to be Arthur Blank's right hand man going forward. But more than that, as we've said before, having been a QB himself to the highest level, MVP, all that good stuff. I would love to say Super Bowl champion, but let's not trigger that again. But yeah, as I say, like just a lot of confidence going forward in the new regime. But I mean, what a lot of people were kind of singling me and Des out for is the fact that we were so kind of slow to get onto Stefanski for the ones that were sold by the higher rate off the bat. But we feel like, as we said at the start of the cycle, I would say, Stefanski isn't a one man army. He's not going to be the type of coach that you hire and he comes in and just everything's better the next day. You had to build the staff around him, and as I say, the Callahan hire, bringing in guys that he's familiar with Tommy Rees as well. So I mean, there's a lot that you can be happy and confident about looking forward.
I mean, well, what I would say is don't be confused by what this offense is going to be like. Listen, I know Raheem, and we made a fool, and we literally said what we thought about Raheem coming out and saying that the full offense goes through Bijan Robinson, but that effectively this offense will begin through Bijan Robinson. I've said before in one of the other shows that Bill Callahan coming in as the O-line coach, he's not there to effectively work with veterans. He's there to develop it, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see quite. And again, you hear Ian Cunningham's interview, and he talks about how it all starts with the O-line. It all starts in the trenches. You know what I mean? So effectively, he's building it from the ground up. So for me, when you look at all that and you look at Michael Penix Jr., obviously he's come out being interviewed saying that he believes he's further on than he should be, and that he's hoping that he's going to be ready for week one. I mean, it all hopefully is coming together. What I would say as well is another thing that I spotted as well is that in one of Matt Ryan's interviews, he talked about how he contacted Joe Flacco to ask him about Kevin Stefanski.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the Pat McAfee show, Joe Flacco was getting interviewed and they got asked about Kevin Stefanski. And straight away, Pat McAfee said, I was surprised he got a job so quickly. And Joe Flacco said, really?
Mm.
And effectively said, I'm excited to see what he does. Great guy, said nothing but amazing things for him. Now, bearing in mind, Matt Ryan and then Joe Flacco, these guys have been in the league for a long time. These guys have seen idiots and they've seen morons. They've seen them everywhere they look. So they don't suffer fools gladly. If they see somebody that they think is going to be knowledgeable and can do the job, they're not going to put their name to somebody they believe is inadequate. So he had plaudits. And to be honest, I've actually put out a tweet. If anybody's confused by who our possible, if Michael Penix Jr. isn't ready for week 1, if anybody's going to wants to know who our possible QB1 is going to be, look no further than a possible Joe Flacco. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's just one more thing to kind of sell that, Des, is the fact that they know each other so well. And as I've said to you, I mean, I kind of broadened it and I says to throw in guys like Russell Wilson, and not to say that obviously I like him as an option, but out of those options, when you're talking about guys who know how to run an offense, I've done it at a high level, all the rest of it, then Flacco would be your number one, obviously, because him and Stefanski do go back. He knows how he runs an offense as well. So Flacco would probably be my choice over Willis. I mean, just because of the age and the skill set, I would say Willis has the higher upside. But if you're only wanting a bridge come mentor, then for sure Flacco would be the guy.
What I think the benefit of Flacco against Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins still wants to be QB1, whereas Joe Flacco is just happy to effectively still be in the league. What if you look back and look at the actual Browns games with Joe Flacco playing? I mean, he'd done okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was Kevin Stefanski's choice to actually then trade him away to the Bengals. You know what I mean? Which just seemed really confusing. So effectively, as you're watching everything unfold and you're getting more people with interviews and everything, you're starting to see how I think it's going to come about. What do you think, Fresh? What do you think about the QB starting the season?
I've always said I wanted Jameis Winston or Jacoby Brissett, but you'll have to trade for those guys. We really don't have a lot of picks, you know what I'm saying? And Cunningham wants picks. So I feel like in free agency, we're gonna be the guys doing a lot of the trading away versus trying to sign people. I think we're gonna hold on to our money and maybe really just kind of re-sign our own guys and probably hopefully keep the money for the future guys, for like, Jalen and James Pierce and Xavier. We start planning for the future that way and putting money for our future for the guys we already have on our team, so we ain't got to worry about them going anywhere, and then just using the draft to replenish and keep great depth. And we ain't got to worry about signing, overpaying anybody because we have people in place.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That seems like a sound strategy, and I feel like that's what I've done with my mock draft, and that's something we can do as a little special as well, as come together. Some of the AFNI guys, we'll all do mock drafts, and we'll show you sort of some of the different ways you can do it, because as you know, Atlanta fans can never agree on anything, so you're going to get a lot of different classes potentially. But yeah, that's what I tried to do. I gave up some capital for next year too. Sorry, Des.
There's still people that don't like Matt Ryan and this fan base, mate. So I mean, you're never ever going to win. Sometimes, you know what I mean. What Fresh, I agree with what Fresh said. Again, Ian Cunningham came out and said in his interview that when he came into Chicago, the year he came into Chicago, They had 5 picks and they ended up, I think he said 10. I think statistically they ended up with 11 picks in that draft. Now, what I would say is that, to be honest, if you're looking around the team at the moment, there's really only, I would say, 2 players, specifically 2 players that you're going to be able to trade away and get decent draft picks, and that's Kyle Pitts and Jesse Bates. And to be honest, there's going to be a lot of things happen in the off season that maybe we won't agree on, but again, we just need to have faith in Matt Ryan, have faith in the Ian Cunningham. Ian Cunningham, when you see him talking, he just seems really well read, as we would call him. He looks intelligent. He knows what he's looking for. He knows, obviously, he's been in. He was in Philly and helped Philly win the first Super Bowl. You know what I mean? He was with the Ravens with their success, and then obviously with the turnaround in Chicago Bears. So the track record is there. I would say he's probably the one that I'm more excited seeing, because when he talks about obviously building from the trenches up and everything, it's like it's whatever every real NFL fan wants. You literally protect. First place I call is you want a run game that you can effectively control the offense with. You need a great O-line. You've got a young QB that you need protected. He's got an injury history. That starts with the O-line, you know what I mean? So with him saying all that and effectively saying that his words were picks are the most important thing. You build your team with picks, developing them and then keeping them as you're going forward, which is the way you want to do it, mate. That again, you're not having to go into free agency and overpay, and effectively you're building it the way it should be, which is effectively naturally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, organically, and it just means that, as I say, you can, as he says, draft, develop, retain, keep the guys in house, know what you've got, and build accordingly. And as I say, I thought it maybe meant good things in the future for guys like Kyle Pitts, maybe Tyler Algier too, because they've been in the scheme for a while now. But as I say, we don't know how the off season is going to play out as well. But while we're talking about obviously building through the trenches, it's something he knows well. It was on the line that he played when he was at the University of Virginia too, so he knows what he's looking for as well. Having done the FBS level playing on the line as well, so it's great to see that obviously we're doubling down. Obviously, you've got Jones assisting Callahan now on that offensive line unit, so the development's going to be good. Obviously, signing Ryan Usel to another 1-year deal as well doesn't negate the need to perhaps look at Jake Slaughter or someone, one of these IOL guys in the draft and all that good stuff. But yeah, as we say, with all things being considered, we're not in too bad a place. I think going forward we're going to be good. But one thing I did want to talk to you guys about as well, and this is something where we can really sort of break some things down a little bit. There was some film, shout out Avian, he done a really good sort of breakdown, but let's talk a little bit about what an actual offense will look like when you've got Tommy Rees, Tanner Engstrand involved, and obviously Alex Van Pelt as your quarterback coach. Now, AVP knows what he's doing with a more play action game, so you're going to be able to lean off of Bijan, especially once Mike first comes back from his injury as well. But I know that Tanner Engstrand also likes to spread the field a lot as well. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if he brings in a receiver. But what have you seen so far out of, if you've done research, what have you seen for the guys coming in and what they can bring to this offense, Des?
Well, I think, looking at what I've seen, as I said earlier, everything's going to go through the running back. That's how they build the team. It's going to go through the running back. I think the one thing about Matt Ryan is although he was the rookie offensive player of the year, he still had his tough spells in that first year. So he understands how tough it is as a rookie. And again, going back to what Michael Penix said, Michael Penix came out and said that, I mean, he's only had 14 games. He's effectively not completed a full season of football. So again, we had the chat and we spoke immense, like consistently through every show we done when Michael Penix this year, was the fact that Zach Robinson just assumed that Michael Penix Jr. was a veteran quarterback and was calling up these plays. I mean, he'd done what he was asked, but effectively, when you've got a young quarterback, you're not driving plays that you have to hit Drake London 45 yards down the park. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not, I mean, I know, and he spoke in his interview, he loves doing that. He loves getting the ball down the field. But again, this year would have been so much better if we didn't get to a point where we started running the ball. We got a lot of pushback from the defense, and then we just handed it to Penix and just assumed he would just dictate the game. He's still a young quarterback. He's still learning. So effectively, it's going to be through the run game. It's going to be a lot of Bijan. That's how I'm hoping that we either effectively look at bringing in a veteran running back or trying to keep Tyler Algier, because we can't, if we're going to use Bijan and use the running game as much as I think we're going to use, we can't just put it all on Bijan's back. Again, Alex Van Pelt coming in as the QB coach. Again, he's well known for developing QBs. So I think we spoke about it in the past. You can tell by Michael Penix's footwork, it needs a lot of work. You know what I mean? It needs a lot of work there. So effectively, we're watching Penix just now, and I think he's good, but there is so much development to bring him up to what he could be. But
I feel like putting him under centre is going to help a lot, Des, because I feel like bringing him in that few steps and not having him operating out a pistol is going to not negate. You're still going to have his issues, of course. He's still young. He's still developing. But I feel like if you bring him closer to centre, he's not going to have quite so much room for the lack of footwork to really have, like, dictate how a play is going to go, I feel. So I think that's something they definitely need to look at, is bringing him under centre, because I feel like when Kirk was under centre, we were more effective towards the end of last season as well. And obviously, Penix has the stronger arm of the two. It's no contest, really. So if you put him in that same situation, there's no reason why, obviously, he can't excel as well. And Des, you gave me a couple of really good photos before the show that backed this up. Because while we're talking about interviews and while we're talking about the way this offense is going to be, here on AFNI, we've been facing quite a lot of flack for the fact that we're saying that we are convinced that MPJ can and will be the franchise quarterback. But here's something that comes to us courtesy of the interview on the Kay Adams show. In their first 14 games, there you are, Michael Penix Jr., 2,757 yards and 12 touchdowns to 6 picks, so an 85.8 passer rating. Then you've got Matthew Stafford, 2,831 yards, 17 touchdowns to 24 picks, and a 67.8 passer rating. Then you've got Josh Allen, who, of course, as we all know, these are meant to be world-beaten level QBs. 2,581 yards, 12 scores to 14 picks, and a 70.8 rating. So as I say, the young man sat there with Kay, broke it all down, kind of first 14 starts, and really told us a lot of what we wanted to know. So I mean, you put it up against guys like that, like Stafford, like Allen. I feel like we're having a very different conversation here, boys, don't you?
Say that again.
I'm just saying, when you look at those stats side by side for their first 14 starts, starts, I should say. And Michael Penix is right in there with guys like Matthew Stafford, Josh Allen. It really makes you take a step back and go, I know, wait, maybe if he's developed appropriately, this guy can be the franchise quarterback. Injuries notwithstanding, if he comes back well from this ACL, I mean, fresh. Surely, when I break those numbers down, it makes you feel some kind of way too, or are you still not convinced?
Oh no, I'm convinced. I've never said he wasn't my starting quarterback. Everybody got to understand, man. He, like you said, just breaking down those analytics right there, and what was on the screen, putting those guys, Matthew Stafford, who just won an MVP, and then who was the other guy they had up there?
Josh
Allen.
When K. Adams,
and you see what Josh Allen was before he became better, a turnover machine. So you got to give him time. Like it's development, and he would have had better development, and his footwork would have been better, even if we would have put him under center and ran the ball effectively. Zach Robertson didn't know what he was doing, and he was just relying on the talent that we had on the team, and that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be able to scheme these guys and help your quarterback, and that's what you didn't do. That's why you are. That's why you're somewhere else right now.
I mean,
you got it, man.
Fresh, what
I'm just saying, OT Aliens are saying the MP9's legit before you go there. Sorry, just saying, like, yeah, he is legit. I would completely agree with that. So shout out down to the chat there. But at the same time, you're only as good as the guys around you. So the offense is coming along, but we've still got a ways to go. I feel. Sorry to jump in, Des. You were saying, mate.
No, what I would say is you could tell that that Zach Robinson came from an offense that had a veteran quarterback. He had Matthew Stafford there, because he just didn't know what to play or how to do plays for a rookie quarterback. I think Zach Robinson will actually probably do better with Baker Mayfield than he will with Michael Penix Jr. Baker Mayfield he's been in the league a long time, so if the play breaks down, he can always do his own thing. But it was horrendous watching what Zach Robinson tried to do with MPJ. We were saying literally week in, week out that they need to make it easier for Michael Penix Jr. And effectively having Yates as the quarterback coach and then the wide receiver coach, and it was just. And then Michael Penix Jr. coming out and saying that he had nobody that he could speak to. You know, I mean, it was just, there was so many red flags that young man was not getting developed the way he should be developed. Again, I said numerous times how Raheem Morris would stand in a press conference and talk about how we believe in Michael Penix Jr. And not once did he stand up and say, listen, we need to understand the guy's a rookie. He's only played 6, 7, 8, whatever amount of games. We need to be patient with the young man. At no point did he say that. He kept on saying, we believe in Michael Penix Jr. Michael, pressure's all on you. Go out there and light up the game. And that's you watch, as I say, these statistics show Matthew Stafford struggled in his first couple of years. Josh Allen struggled in his first couple of years. Caleb Williams, after last season, there was talks that the Chicago Bears might trade him away and try and get picks. And Drake May, I mean, if you watch some of his first season games, I mean, there was some horrendously bad games. That's what happens with a quarterback. You know what I mean? You look at Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning still holds the interception record for a QB in his rookie year. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess if you want to put it all down to numbers, Des, I've got another interesting one for you. If you want to look at the NFL record books and look at interception numbers, you will find that the QB who has thrown the highest number of career interceptions is a guy who also has a Super Bowl ring, and I think he is a little name you might know, Brett Favre. So, I mean, numbers count for one thing, but you can then develop and still be an all-time great. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of it's going to come down to how he bounces back from this injury. And for me, I'm scared, I'll be honest with you, about starting them week 1, purely just for the reasons that I've said to you, Des, and I've said in the group chat as well, Fresh, for the rest of the guys. It's just, I don't want to rush him back to then re-aggravate it, given the fact that this has hampered him all the way through college, now into the pros as well. And this is why, as I say, if we can get the ideal bridge, a Flacco or someone of that nature, I feel like that puts us in the best position, because he can then mentor. If he's not 100%, he can go, no, I can shoulder the load for a few more weeks. Nothing wrong with that, because we know we've got someone with sustained success in the league to lean back on. But I don't want to rush him back. Like, the talk's good, and I'm glad that his prognosis is he's looking strong and he's back squatting and all this good stuff. But I'm very apprehensive about bringing him back. I'd give him that sort of 4-week window and see where we're at week 4, maybe, is kind of where I fall with it all right now. And what about you, Des? I mean, in terms of your feelings with his injury?
Yeah, I mean, see, from my point of view, if we'd have kept Raheem Morris for another year, it would have been horrendous for Michael Penix Jr. because Raheem Morris would have been in a position where he needs to get to the playoffs, he needs to win and do well this season, and it would have been a case of who's best for us to win, and it is Michael Penix Jr. We'll rush him back. We'll try and see what we can do. I think we effectively everything that's been. I mean, what I would say is this week, when you see everything, it feels as if it's like spring cleaning. We've cleared the decks, we've cleared everybody out. It's everybody's new, and that gives time, mate. That allows you to develop a quarterback, and I think we've got the team to get us to the playoffs. But I think we having Matt Ryan in the building. Matt Ryan, he's a fan of Michael Penix Jr. I think he believes in Michael Penix Jr. And I think Michael Penix Jr., if he's not 100%, he will not be on the park. And I'm pretty sure Stefanski will agree, and I think Matt Ryan wouldn't allow it to happen unless he's got effectively 1,000% on that medical report. I personally don't think we'll see him unless he comes back really early and from June, July onwards. He's at training camp. If he doesn't start training camp for me, clear, then effectively I don't put him in for the first game.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I feel like that's the way Matt Ryan is, and I feel like he's done a good job in kind of taking a little page from the Raheem book, but not in so much as not telling us anything. I feel like he said it's kind of, it is his job to lose, but the injury is an important one, so he's not putting all his eggs in the MPJ basket right at this moment, which you can't really realistically do, and still hope to come out swinging week 1. But at the same time, I love the way Matt's doing it, and he's making sure, obviously, that all due diligence is done. And as I say, all the guys are in place around about him to make sure that the development can continue and that he can come back and be successful, which is ultimately what we all kind of want to see. But I mean, let's go back just a little bit. Sorry, Des.
What I would say is the one thing that I've seen from the interviews that Michael Penix Jr. has done, that young guy has got confidence. He knows his fiance ain't having to tell him that he's good. That Michael Penix Jr. knows how good he can be. His confidence is literally flown out of him. He looks like I'll try and say this. He looks like the fat kid that's desperate to get the McDonald's, mate. He looks hungry. He really, really looks hungry, mate. And I can say that as historically the fat kid that wanted the McDonald's. So in case anybody complains, but I mean, he looks hungry for it. I mean, he's saying all the right things. Effectively, when you look at the medical report, they're saying that his knee's going to be stronger than it ever has been. because obviously the operation and the strengthening that's been done. So effectively, he's had 3 ACL tears. They've all been repaired. So I mean, for me, when I look at Michael Penix Jr., he knows what he wants, he knows how to do it, and he knows that if he's given the right support, he will do it. The only big issue is that injury concerns. That is the scary thing, and that's how there is so much doubt just now about whether he is going to be the franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I feel like we've really broken those numbers down. I feel like right now that's my only situation. I feel like the footwork can be worked on. We've got the staff in place to do that. So yeah, it really is just the injuries at this point that are kind of concerning me. But if it does prove true and he does come back stronger, then I'm looking forward to seeing what 2026 brings. Because as I say, I feel like if we sign the right guys in free agency, because I do see a couple of guys going the way a receiver. I see the name Jahan Dotson teased, which again, it wouldn't be the worst option as a number 2. We do need a number 2 because I feel like, as I say, Mooney's a high band 3 at best right now. I'm not a big Darnell Mooney guy. I feel like we could recoup something back. I feel like some needy team's going to give us something to get him off the books.
6th or 7th round pick or something, mate. I think we could get from something like that.
Mm-hmm. I would take a day 3 because I feel like in a class like this, I mean, you saw what I done in my draft. I was able to get Malachi Fields round 6 out of Notre Dame, and I mean, like for like, I would take that because I mean, Fields is a big boundary body, 6'4", 212, 13 pounds. He's about that Drake London size again. So, I mean, for round 6, I wouldn't complain at that. But I do feel like we need to address these pass catchers because the receiving game's been woeful in spots this season. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't on the official agenda, but let's touch on that a little bit and let's see what you're feeling like, Fresh, because I know that this is where you're going to come into your own, and this is why, or partly why I kind of brought you in into the fold, so to speak, because we're going to be doing a lot of obviously draft breakdowns, position, film, all that good stuff, just to kind of let you know why we want these guys in Atlanta. And I know obviously you're keen on doing that sort of thing too. So, who's some of the guys that you're looking at? We'll speak in a kind of general standpoint. So, if you're talking about this draft class, Fresh, who do you like? Who do you think would put us in a good position for the coming season?
Well, as far as receiver, you got multiple people. A guy you just said, Malachi Fields. I think he with his performance at this past Senior Bowl, he might pull himself into a first rounder, especially if he does good at the combine. But that's the guy I definitely would like to look at. A guy from Drake London's alum, Jacoby Lane, plays basically like Drake London, maybe a little faster. Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana. He's a good guy. I think he'll be a solid number 2 to Drake. Who else would be good? That's on. Oh, and a guy that me and Coach Unchained is very high on, Chris Braswell. I think he will be a good guy to bring in. And if you watch Georgia football, he was a guy out there making some of them Georgia defenders look silly. So
yeah, like I mean, he's got a strange build, Chris Brazel. Like he's really long and lean. I think he's only 200 pounds and he's 6'4". But his getaway speed is insane. Like that first step is crazy. I reckon 4'4", low 4'4", maybe.
He's projected 2nd round, mate, and then you've got obviously somebody like KC Concepcion from Texas A&M. Again, he's 6'2". But the standout of them is definitely for size is Chris Brazel from Tennessee. Yeah. Definitely. And again,
it depends what you want, because a lot of people like Zachariah Branch as well. Because I got Branch round 3, And I think he's a smaller guy. He's more of a slot archetype. I think last check he's about 205, maybe 5'10", 5'11". So he's not a big guy, but he's quick and he's shifty. And obviously, I know the
Basically a lab
propensity in
of
Atlanta to keep the Georgia boys home. So that's another option for you. Would be young Zachariah Branch. But it's a really good class of receivers this year. And as I say, I've done it. I wouldn't be too mad if we double dip. But as I say, it depends what you do to kind of get extra picks in and what you're willing to give up. But as I
I'm
say,
giving Darnell Mooney up with the quickness.
yeah,
and not
for
only
sure.
that, you give him up with the swiftness because you can save some money.
Definitely. I mean, this whole class is going to cost 6 to 8.
11 million. I think 11 million we save if we cut him post June the 1st. So I mean, it's a no-brainer that he won't be here, mate. I think if E Cunningham can get a draft pick for him, then I don't think he really cares what draft pick it is. As you said, and we've said before, if you're going to not have a first round pick in any draft, this is the year, because effectively after the first maybe 8 or 10 players, it's the same old. And the wide receiver is, you've got players like, you've got Bernard from Alabama, which he's 6'2". He's projected 3rd round. You know what I mean? You've got the 2 Indiana wide receivers that are projected 3rd round, and Elijah Sarah and Omar Cooper Jr. You know what I mean? So wide receivers there's a lot of depth there. So, and again, in Ian Cunningham, we trust, mate. You know what I mean? I think again, go back to the interview. That man looks like a man who should have had the effectively general manager job 4 years ago. He looks as if he knew he should have been here long before now. And again,
as you say, the hunger is showing, and it's something it's showing quite a lot across the whole staff. I would say everybody just seems hungry and ready to get after it, and it's really sparking something in me too, because that's why, as I say, I don't mind telling you guys that have been here since day dot. We're working to get a new stream host and some new high quality features in place for you that have put up so much work to enjoy the show so far. So obviously, shout out back to the family in the chat. As I say, we're doubling down to just make sure everything's just better in season 2 for you. But yeah, while we're doing all that good stuff, and while, as I say, receiver looks so deep, I would go Ian Cunningham in round 2. I would build through the trenches, and as I say, my first choice is between 2 guys. I'm going Lee Hunter, and if Lee Hunter's not there, then I'm going the kid from Florida State, Darryl Jackson. I think it was his name.
Take a look at Caleb Banks from Florida. Tim, dang, what is his name? Tim Keenan, the 3rd from Alabama. Those are some guys too. James Thompson Jr. from Illinois. Those are some guys that fill in nice in that middle of that defensive line. Linebackers, the people's mullet. Jacob Rodriguez, Shad Banks is another guy that you could take a look at for that linebacker position.
Even down the board again, when you're talking linebackers, you've got guys like Caleb Elamzor out of TCU, guys like that. So I mean, if you're then these are 4th, 5th round guys. So again, when you're talking linebacker, there's a lot of depth down the board. So as Des says, I mean, it's maybe not the class of superstars, but to give up a 1st round pick to get 10.5 sacks, I'll say we win that, and I'll die on that hill, and I know you're right there with me, Des. This is the year you're not bothered about it.
I mean, talking about other like in the trenches, I think personally we need. Look at somebody like Christian Miller out of Georgia as a nose tackle. six foot four, 310 pound. He's projected as second round. You know what I mean? So something like that. But again, the one thing you just hope from Ian Cunningham is that he's going to get the effectively the needle in the haystack players. You know what I mean? Effectively, we've had this discussion before. Is it on the general manager who drafts them, or is it on the coaches that develop them? If he's a bust, I mean, effectively, if you're the general manager, you're picking potential. You know what I mean? You then leave that down to the coaching staff. And to be honest, when you look at the staff that we've built, you know what I mean, we've effectively got head coaches and OCs in smaller roles. You know what I mean? Effectively, this is the thing that if you're unsure about Kevin Stefanski, look at the coaches he's brought in. These are guys that effectively any other day could be getting a head coaching position. You know what I mean? And we've got them as a quarterback coach and a offensive line coach. You know what I mean? So
and a pass game coordinator. I mean, even Tanner Engstrand's last assignment, he was OC at the Jets. So I mean,
that's right.
That is one thing you can throw in. Is I expect this offense to be night and day more flexible and more just situational than it was last season. It's going to be refreshing when we had last year the whole kind of plan A and that's it. But yeah, as I say, I'm excited to see what comes, but I'm just getting a wee notification that the Fresh has got to jump off. So what we'll do before we do let you go is just tell the people where they can get at you. And as I say, if you've had fun, we'd love to have you back soon to talk more draft, brother.
Oh yeah. Come and see me at Almighty Sports Talk. You know what I'm saying? That's where I give all my fresh talk for sports. I'll be bringing some hockey over there too, you know, diving into that. But right now we diving into draft picks and this team. And yeah, I definitely come over here with you guys. I have to set up more time actually and just be able to do a whole and completely entire show with you guys. But yeah, I definitely love over here. Got to come over here with the pun, you know what I'm saying? Get over here and talk to my guys, get some history lessons, you know. You feel
Hell
me?
yeah, man. Yeah, as I say, we always like to keep the babies of the family clued up and take them back and show them some stuff. No, but as I say, we learn from you guys too. So we're glad to have you as a frequent flyer. And as I say, peace and love for now, and we'll catch up with you real soon. But appreciate you taking the time, spending it here with us, brother.
Thanks,
appreciate you guys for letting me on, man. I'll catch you guys later. Hey, peace and love to y'all. Make sure y'all hit them like buttons, man. Comment, subscribe.
Hell
you
yeah.
feel me? Peace out.
Take it easy, brother. So yeah, so that was fresh. He's getting his debut. The band-aid's off now, but as I say, that kind of is a good point to kind of tell you what's happening. So as I say, we are going to be bringing you a new channel very soon. So if you couldn't tell from what Fresh was saying, then you need to look no further than Desi's cap there. So what's going to be coming from season 2 is we are now at a new home HQ, so to speak. So if you want to go and give us a subscribe, then you will find us on YouTube at VSF Sports. Your boy's been doubling down on a little bit of logo design as well. So if you're looking for the logo, you will see it either as that with the talking heads, or you'll get the full body version, which would be that. So either way, as I say, there's a lot of good stuff coming from season 2. So not just Falcons, but we're also going to be going into the rest of the NFL. As I say, the coaching tree, the draft, all that good stuff. Some baseball. Obviously, the Braves are warming up, and Des is hopeful. And as I say, he's convinced me to kind of do my homework again. It's been a minute since I watched some baseball, so it should be fun to get back into it. Obviously, I'm doubling down too on the pro wrestling stuff. So it's the road to WrestleMania as well. So if you wanna get involved, then there's a lot of good stuff coming. So that's the new hub for y'all. But yeah, let's keep all this good stuff going. So now that we've kind of spoken a little bit about the staff, the coaching, the MPJ interview, and all that stuff, it's time for a bit of a rant, Des. And you know the people love to hear his rant. Let's get into these honours. Well, I'm going to start off with, you know what, it's a win-win for us, and I'll explain why in just a little second. But there you go. There's your 2026 or 2025 season NFL honours. So Matthew Stafford of the MVP, I should say. You've got Jackson Smith and Jigba of the Seahawks as your OPOY. Myles Garrett, of course, is the DPOY with his record-breaking 23 sack season. So beast. What more needs to be said? Ted McMillan with the Offensive Rookie of the Year. So shout out to the Panthers. I said during the draft that was a great pick. I thought he was going to be a special pro. And here's where we start to have some problems now. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Carson Schlesinger, linebacker from the Browns. Now, we'll finish it out and then we'll tackle that. But as I say, Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel. Your Walter Payton Man of the Year, that went to, I can't see the bottom row. Give me 1 wee second. If you want to finish that out, if you've got the picture there, Des.
Hold on a second, mate. Let me just kick that out. Hide. I can't remember. I can't see it myself, mate, to be honest.
It's all right. Just give me 2 seconds. Don't worry. Right. So we have... here we go. Right. So Bobby Wagner with Walter Payton Man of the Year. Joe Tooney got Protector of the Year. And then you had Comeback Player of the Year was Christian McCaffrey. So in a lot of cases, I would say those were warranted, but one particularly find fault with, and I'm sure it's the same one as you, is why did a Falcon not get Defensive Rookie of the Year? I don't care which one. Either would have done, but surely.
Right. So who got Defensive Player of the Year? Myles Garrett. Why did Myles Garrett get the Defensive Player of the Year? Because he sacked
23 sacks. Mm-hmm.
Right. So why did the Rookie Defensive Player of the Year, right? The best rookie in sack totals since Micah Parsons not win that? Even Xavier Watts. I mean, I put out a tweet that effectively saying that Carson Schweizinger, I would put Xavier Watts' stats against him. So games played 16, Xavier Watts 17, total tackles 96. Now his total tackles were more, but if you've got a really bad defense and you're having to do more, that doesn't mean you're a better player. You know what I mean?
No.
67 solo tackles, 89 assisted. Xavier Watts was 59 solo tackles, 37 assists. Sack record, Carson, 2.5 sacks, right? Interceptions, 2. Xavier Watts, no sacks, 5 interceptions, which was tied for second in the NFL, right? Passes defended, 11, tied 28 in the NFL. Carson Schweizinger, pass defended, 3. Forced fumbles, 0. Forced fumble recoveries, 0. Xavier Watts, fumble recoveries, 1. So when you actually look at Xavier Watts, forgetting James Pierce Jr., Xavier Watts had a better, just as good a record, and he was a 5th round pick. At what point do you put your draft, where you're picked in the draft, into the voting choice? If you're effectively doing and being as good as this, and we drafted you. No, he was a 3rd round pick, sorry. And we drafted him 3rd round pick. That's even better. You know what I mean? James Pierce Jr., Xavier Watts was robbed. Bijan Robinson was robbed. I'm sorry, but you won't have anybody that would argue with you that Bijan Robinson ain't the best player in the NFL. You know what I mean? I put out. I mean, I literally went off in one, and I put out about 10 tweets, and effectively, I just sat. It was a quiet day in my business, and I sat and I just went on one. You know what I mean? And to be honest, the disrespect that they show the Atlanta Falcons. Again, what other people need to forget is, listen, yeah, the Cowboys had a terrible, the Cleveland Browns had a terrible year, but effectively, the Xavier Watts, 5 interceptions. I mean, he was a ball hawk. It got to a point that they were thrown on Jesse Bates' side of the field than Xavier Watts, and that Jesse Bates is one of the best safeties in the NFL. And again, I put it down to the positions. But I mean, if you look at that show, I think Carson, I wouldn't say second name, I think Carson got 40 votes. James Pierce Jr. get 2 votes, and Xavier Watts get 1 vote. I mean, that's disgraceful, mate. How can you have 10 and a half and lead the league in rookie sacks well in front of anybody else and not win rookie defensive player of the year? But as you're going to say, we've discussed what would happen if James Pierce didn't get it, mate, and you're going to tell us why.
Yeah, well, as I say, first off, I would say one about Bijan as well. If Carson Schwarzenegger deserves to be the DPOY because of his level of production on a team that was not as productive, why then is Bijan not Offensive Player of the Year? When Jackson Smith and Jigba is playing on a Super Bowl team, we didn't make the playoffs, and Bijan's still the first player in NFL history to have 1,400 rushing yards from scrimmage and 800 receiving yards on top of that. Smashes the record for most yards ever before the age of 24 on a team that struggled as much as we have this season. But as I say, we've got used to it, Des, that the Falcons don't get the due respect in terms of honours, in terms of league notoriety that we maybe deserve for the performances that we've given. So, but look at it this way. It's a win-win for us because the guy who just coached the Defensive Rookie of the Year is now coming over to us to essentially coach number 2 and 3. Add into that, obviously, you've got Ulbrich as well, and we know what he can do with a defense. Nate Ollie stays as well, so ask us again when we come back to the honours next year and see where we're at. That's all I'm going to say.
So effectively, if you want to look at it, right, we've got the coach that had 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks, right? He had the Defensive Player of the Year and he had the Rookie Defensive Player of the Year. You know what I mean? In the most dysfunctional franchise in NFL. You know what I mean? So effectively, if you look at that, and again, I've seen a few people saying, how can you have all these players and be so bad? Well, did you actually watch a Cleveland Browns game? You know what I mean? Effectively, there was a reason why in the last 4 or 3 years he's had 13 quarterbacks. You know what I mean? So if you want to know where the dysfunction comes, it goes to the general manager and the actual owner. You know what I mean? So effectively, I mean, you look at the Jim Schwartz debacle as well. He's now resigned. You know what I mean? And I know there's a few Atlanta Falcons fans are saying for Kevin Stefanski to bring him in as assistant head coach. So again, that's a possibility. But I think Cleveland Browns want a pick for him. They're still retaining retaining him. So effectively, they'll be looking for a pick. But the honours, I just think it's the same as the Pro Bowl, mate. It's just a publicity thing. It's just who's the best to tick the boxes. You know what I mean?
And in all cases, I don't even think it's the right boxes being ticked, mate. After a certain extent. But as I say, we can go at that all night because, as I say, you heard our thoughts about the Pro Bowl as well. Not the games we watched in years gone by. Not the days when you'd see poor Moorman getting lit up by Sean Taylor and them trying to say it's a Pro Bowl. I seen that last night again. I love that so much.
You get 6 months to recover. What's your problem? You know what I mean? So
that's it.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna do it in full kit, you're gonna get scalped just the same as you're gonna in a regular game. Love it. That's the kind of player Sean Taylor was. They don't make them like that anymore, does they? Really don't.
But again, if you're going to put competitive players in a competitive environment, you're going to get a competitive outcome, mate. I mean, I'm sorry, 100%. But I mean, effectively, some of these. I mean, listen, I'm sure all the players. I mean, I seen Bijan there, and he's walking about, and he's happy, and I mean, but. I mean, there's just no use for the Pro Bowl now, mate. There's just no use. They need to look at changing it. In fact, they need to look at changing a lot of things. The Hall of Fame voting needs to change because, as much as I hate Bill Belichick, I mean, he should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? Right. So, right, and again. I'll put this out to the Falcons fans, right? So, effectively, Bill Belichick didn't get in because of the Deflategate, the issues with all that kind of thing, yeah? Mm-hmm. Effectively, that's what we're hearing. But a quarterback who was on a team where the head coach and all the other coaches were paying players to injure other players, get in first time, and Drew Brees, garbage. So if you've got one rule for one, then you've got another. You get the same rule for the other. You know what I mean? Effectively, the quarterback, the Super Bowl with Drew Brees was tainted with all that happening. You know what I mean? That was. I
would have felt like it was tainted anyway. I mean, I wasn't going to make this joke, but seeing as we're getting right into Deflategate and things like this, I would have felt like it was poor taste to have a QB named Breeze win you the Super Bowl right after Hurricane Katrina. But I digress. Nevertheless, like when you break it all down, it just makes you feel like if you're gonna go out and out on the rules and really say no, if you're a cheater then you shouldn't be in, and there's a whole lot of names in that Hall of Fame that shouldn't really be there. I've said many times, and you will still be able to go in and see a gold bust in the Hall of Fame that reads Orenthal James Simpson, running back, Buffalo Bills. So, like, as I say, what really defines why you should be a Hall of Famer in the first place and where you go from there? Like, as I say, I don't want to get too political on it, but the league needs to look at these things. The Pro Bowl, even in the Hall of Fame, some of these voting, and as I say, I heard earlier on it was Primetime, Deion Sanders talking about it, and he mentioned how obviously only Hall of Famers should vote for the due course of the Hall of Fame, and I thought it's an interesting take. I don't know if it would fix it necessarily, but yeah, as you say, something needs to give because it's becoming a bit farcical at this point.
Well, I'm telling you now, if Drew Brees getting in the as a first ballot Hall of Famer, then Matt Ryan, and what is it, 2 years? Matt Ryan's walking in there in 2 years, mate. So, because I'll tell you what, I'd put Matt Ryan up against Drew Brees anytime. You know what I mean? Effectively, Drew Brees had great defenses. Matt Ryan didn't. So effectively, he got his statistics with bad defenses. So again, mate, it's just that I keep on saying, mate, there's a few clubs that effectively always get the hype, and there's a few clubs that always get the hate. And I just feel that since that infamous night, it's just seems to be that Atlanta Falcons are just looked on as being a laughing stock, and nothing good happens to them. And well, we can't vote for that guy because he's an Atlanta Falcon. You know, I mean, it's what I would say is that if I'm Kevin Stefanski, mate, I'm literally putting all these players, especially that Carson Schweizinger, I'm putting a picture up on Xavier Watts and James Pearce Jr.'s locker and just saying, remember. You know what I mean? I think Bijan Robinson is just too nice to. He just loves doing what he's doing. I don't think there's an angry but in his body. But I think Xavier Watson and especially James Pearce Jr., I think they can find their anger all right, mate. So
like I feel like if we play Cleveland next year, I will deliberately just like pull Bijan aside and go like, did you hear what that Carson was saying about you and your family? I want him on his ass. Like if I need to do that to bring some anger out of Bijan, that's something we can look at doing. But like that defense don't need any help.
I've said before that one of the most famous soccer coaches in the UK was a manager, came from Glasgow, called Alex Ferguson. And Alex Ferguson literally used the world against the team. Famous Manchester United manager, and effectively he done the read one when Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl and came out and said that all the press had said that they were going to go like 7-10 that season. Nobody said that, but the head coach effectively came out and said, this is what they're telling me you're going to. If I'm Kevin Stefanski, I'm saying to everybody, nobody likes this team. They all think you're rubbish. They all think you're garbage. This year, let's show them how special we can be and just light the fire under the guys. And to be honest, mate, we've got the players. We need the depth. We definitely need the depth. But the players at the top we've got.
I agree. And as much as we rant, Des, like before we do kind of give our kind of not closing statements, but at least kind of start winding things down, I will at least kind of flash up the photo for posterity. So taking all the jokes off the table, and I like to get close to the knuckle. There is your Hall of Fame class of 2026. So Adam Vinatieri, Drew Brees, Roger Craig, Luke Kuechly, and Larry Legend, Larry Fitzgerald. As I say, don't have to be a Falcons or a Cardinals fan rather to appreciate the level of just hand talent, tenacity, and just how nice a guy he was his whole career. So as I said in the statement, congratulations, guys. Welcome to Canton. Eternity awaits. And as I say, 2 years' time, when it rolls around for the Iceman, I hope he can stroll in just as easily as Drew just has. We'll say that, Des.
I mean, to be honest, mate, I would say, and again, I seen Rich Eisen saying this, and I was thinking it, and he said it. The fact that there was only 5 players picked was, I just think, I mean, effectively, are they telling us that? I mean, you imagine the amount of players, the amount of great players that retire every year that should be in the Hall of Fame. What I would say is, when I'm talking about the Hall of Fame, I'm going to go back to a tweet that I seen. And effectively, I'm just going to see if I can find it. Let me just see. It was effectively a tweet about 9 players. It showed all the Hall of Fame players that were in the Hall of Fame that played for each team, and we had 9 players on it. And I put a tweet out saying these statistics are nonsense, because statistically we only have one player in Claude Humphreys that played most of his career with the Atlanta Falcons that's in the Hall of Fame. The other players, so Devin Hester was here for 3 years complete. Tony Gonzalez was here 4 years. He was 8 or 9 years. You know what I mean? So effectively, when you look at all the great players that we've had in Atlanta, specifically players that have played most of their careers in Atlanta, we've got one Hall of Fame player in 60 years. 60 years, well.
And as much as we want to talk about Deion Sanders being Mr. Falcon on the Rushmore and all the rest of it, did he enter Canton as a 49er or a Cowboy? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But he didn't do it as a Falcon. So that's all we're trying to kind of say.
Listen, Deion Sanders was before time, right? And again, there's a lot of people in the Atlanta Falcons base that loves him to bits. But for me, he was here 4 years. He could have made us a Super Bowl winning team if he'd have stayed, but he didn't. He decided to go for the money, and he went for the money. You know what I mean? So that, for me, takes any legitimacy of him as an Atlanta Falcons player off. You know what I mean? I'm looking at the Julio Joneses and the Matt Ryans and the Jake Matthews. You know what I mean? And effectively some of the historic ones that should have been in as well. You know what I mean?
I think we've got someone new there down in the chat, and I think he's been glad to find us. He's found his ancestors. Glad to have you, Jeremy, and another Celtic brother, no less. So if you want to join the Celtic Revolution, we'll tell you how to do that a little later on in the show.
Listen, I'm going to say if you're a lot younger and I hear anything about a DNA test, so I'm sorry, Jeremy, but it's not happening. So we're distant ancestors, mate. So, but yeah, and obviously rise up. So I would say I think we changed it to get set, get Falcon set. I think Rise Up's done, mate. I think. Yeah,
I feel, or even go back to Brotherhood, because as I say, this hire has kind of split the fan base a little bit. But just we need to get some solidarity behind Coach Stefanski. So, as I say, now that everything's done, now that all the pressers are behind us, I really couldn't be happier. And I really hope you're right. Shout out another PR. We will keep the hits coming. Don't you worry about that. As I said a little bit earlier on in the show, we are going to take a week off after the Super Bowl. But as I say, I'll tell you all about the watch party later on. But we are going to take a wee week off, get some things together behind the scenes, just to make sure that season 2 is going to be an absolute belter. To give you another good Scottish word, an absolute ball for you guys as well. So yeah, hopefully it's all going to be good things, and as we say, hopefully we can win the Super Bowl when it comes back to the Bends as well, because if there's going to be a year to win the first one, 2028 wouldn't be too bad. And do you want to take that?
Well, see to be honest, yeah, so see Dirtlinger said being an exec will help Matt Ryan get in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's due in the Hall of Fame anyway, mate. So whatever he does with as the president of football, he deserves it anyway. So, but what I would
and after the night we do not mention, it'll be great for him to finally get his ring, because he's earned it. He's more than earned it. Sorry, Des, on you.
Well, to be honest, mate, for some reason I had it in my head that it was the 3rd of February and forgot it was the 5th of February that it all happened. And then went on X, and it was just video after video after video. Either the Julio Jones catch or the was it? I'm trying to think it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't talk about the game. And again, to be honest, mate, I know you're doing a watch party, but I put up on X that I have not watched a single minute of a Super Bowl game, highlights or live, since the 5th of February 2017. The pain is still. I mean, I'm not joking about this. The pain is still there for me that we got so close and we didn't win it. We're 9 years on, and I still can't watch a single second of it. And I'm not a jealous person, but the feeling of jealousy that I get when I wake up, because again, I'll wake up the next morning and I'll look and I'll see who's won it, and I don't watch a single. I don't watch it. I mean, for somebody that does a football show, not to watch the Super Bowl, maybe I'll look at the highlights this year. I think it's going to be Seattle Seahawks, and we can watch the Hatriots getting absolutely destroyed. I'm up for that. I'll watch that all day long. But
yeah, that sounds like a plan, because I mean, I've made no secret. You know, I'm no New England fan, and I've made no secret about the fact that their playoff run has been Mickey Mouse, as you would say in the States. I have never seen a weaker team face less challenges, less of a tough road to get to the big game. So even if they did manage to win it, I think it comes with some serious kind of caveats. But yeah, I just feel like it's going to be a fun game. I feel like with all the stuff that we've been saying about Kubiak and the coaching cycle, I don't think it's going to be a close contest. I don't think New England know what they're walking into, to be quite honest with you. I think it's going to be more one-sided than what you would originally think looking at the teams. But yeah, that's kind of.
But again, this is us watching what should have been, because if anybody remembers getting into that Super Bowl, for us, we were dismantling defenses. We were literally destroying defenses. And we went into that game and we destroyed the Hatriots, mate. We, for the first 3 quarters, we absolutely dismantled them, mate. And then it all just went to pot, mate. It all went Pete Tong. But again, effectively, see, and again, I'll keep on saying it, the historic, looking at the way the Atlanta Falcons was in 2016 and the way the Seattle Seahawks have been this year, it's like a carbon copy, mate. It's like they came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Our 2015 season was met. I think it was 8-8. You know what I mean? 8-8 record. I think we started 6-1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was people talking for Kyle Shanahan to be fired after the first year. Then the second year, it all changed, and it was just we were just on fire. And that seems the same way the Seattle Seahawks. Just effectively, they're on fire. It's all through the offense. We a good to average defense. So when we watch what I believe Seattle Seahawks absolutely destroy the Patriots, that's the way the Super Bowl with us should have went, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. But you know what? All the more reason to win it in 2028 when it rolls back to our house. And I understand the Sanders Glaze as well, Jeremy, but I'm going to tell all the people who want to feel some kind of way, if we're getting a free agent quarterback, it's not going to be surnamed Sanders. I'm pretty sure Shadeur's not coming into the building, given the coaching thing. But you know what? He wanted Baker. He wanted Shadeur. He done his best to develop the man. So I don't want to hear any Sanders glazing. So at this point, if you're not with us, you're against us. And that goes for the team and the show. So as I say, to see so many of you, especially new guys, just tuning in for your first show today is a true blessing. And as you say, Matty never had a good O-line after the Super Bowl. Surprised he played so well after taking such a beating. Yeah, well, I would agree, but it's just to show you the character of the man. But yeah, and that's for that reason. The only guy we still have from that team as well is Jake Matthews. We need to get that guy a ring before he calls it quits.
Absolutely.
Just for all the pain and all the naysaying we've had since. We need Big Jake to go out on a ring. I would love that. I would love nothing more. Just go like, look, big fella, you reckon you've got 2 more years on you, because we might take a year to get this in place. But yeah, that's my end game. Like, if we can push forward for the Super Bowl in 2028, that's kind of what I want to see. But yeah, I think. Sorry, on you go, Des.
To be honest, mate, as I say, that's how I'm getting excited, mate, and I always do it. But if Michael Penix can get himself healthy with this coaching staff, with Matt Ryan in the building. Now, what I would say is the one thing that disappointed me with the Matt Ryan interviews was that nobody asked him the question that I would ask him, and that question would be, when you were interviewing all these head coaches, did the quarterback in you come out? Were you looking at this guy and thinking, God, if I had just played under this guy, how good I would have been under this guy in this offensive line and effectively this offense and this scheme? You know what I mean? Nobody's asked him if when he made the decision to take and pick Kevin Stefanski, whether he actually had it in his head that how he would have fared in that offense, which is what I look at, because again, Matt Ryan's come out and said, people are saying, well, what's going to be your day-to-day? What are you looking to do? And I know Monday's going to start the draft meetings for the draft. But effectively, as he says, he's bringing a different perspective. He's bringing a player's perspective. And he's effectively looking at all these coaches and thinking, God, there's a possibility if I was under them, I could have won a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? That's how, although I was lukewarm in the Stefanski hire originally, when I stepped back and kind of looked at it all, Matt Ryan's looking at this offense and thinking, I want what we had in 2016, and I think this guy is going to give us that we had in 2016.
I feel like you're right. And again, I mean, this is what we need to do as well, as Jeremy says, is I was calling for solidarity behind the coach, but get behind Michael Penix as well. I've seen nothing to think he's not capable of being the franchise quarterback. If you didn't see it earlier, we broke down some of the stats as well. And like for like, his first 14 games stack up with Matthew Stafford and Josh Allen. So that's some quite elite company you're talking about there. So if we can develop him properly, he can and he will be able to lead this franchise into greener pastures or into the promised land, so to speak. So we're not worried about Penix. He has all the arm talent in the world. He just needs to get the footwork a bit more under him, which obviously, as I say, going back to centre might be the way. Shout out to Floyd Donnelly down in the chat as well. Another one of the Celtic brothers, just showing love as always. But yeah, as I say, it's going to be exciting to kind of see what's coming. But we're going to kind of break down, as I say, what's coming down the pipe for you in season 2. So as I say, when we had Fresh on the show earlier, we're going to be getting into basically the same sort of things that the team are getting into now. So we're getting into talking about some free agency, some draft stuff as well, because it's going to be a big night in Pittsburgh. So we're going to be keeping you company through all that as well. And then obviously as well, tomorrow night, if the numbers are proven good and you want to see it, we will be putting on the last kettle session of the season. So we'll be closing it out in style and bringing you the Super Bowl live. And as I say, that'll be the Sam Darnold-led Seahawks and the Drake May-led Patriots. So that's kind of breaking down some of the good stuff that's coming from us in the coming days. And as I say, in the coming weeks, we want to thank you for all your love and support through season 1. As I say, we'll be getting the new toys in place, so to speak, Des, for season 2. So yeah, we're in the process of doing all that good stuff for you right now. But just as I say, just wanted to get on, close the season out in style now that I've got the fidelity there to do so. As I say, I hadn't quite had the chance to fully break down how I was feeling about this stuff yet, but it's been good to sit and talk with you tonight, Des, and especially, as I say, throughout the season, it's not been what we wanted it to be at all times, but now that the pressers are done, the smoke's cleared on the new hires, I'm here for it. And as I say, I'm looking forward to kicking off a new season and really getting into some more sports with you on SF Sports going forward. So yeah, just thank you for all your help this year, mate. It's been greatly appreciated, and looking forward to more good stuff to come.
It's been great, mate. Obviously, MVP this game is definitely your Wi-Fi, mate. It's hung in there, so we're definitely throwing an award that way. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, effectively, this. I mean, we've done about 47 shows, so I mean, we're doing on average an hour and a half a show. So you multiply how much we've actually spoke in the last. I mean, effectively the last maybe 7 or 8 months.
Yep.
So effectively, it was just allowing us to get used to all this and deal with the gremlins and effectively deal with real life when things happen and we can't get on and do a show and all that kind of stuff. And effectively, just as I say, just allow us to get our feet under the table and feel it out and everything. So obviously, season 2, we're going to have a few more sports. You know, I mean, I love my Atlanta Braves, so obviously new manager there. There's a lot of changes. So effectively, quite unusual. As I'll just discuss this. Obviously, the FanDuel Sports. It's another name, but effectively it is FanDuel Sports. It used to be Bally South. Bally South. It used to have the Braves games. Then that changed to FanDuel Sports. Now, watching the game over here, I always had the MLB app, so I would pay like 180 quid a year and I got everything. But this year I've cancelled it because I don't know whether we're going to get Braves games on that, because the Braves have walked away and most of the other teams that were under contract to FanDuel Sports have walked away from their contract. And effectively, the Braves are now coming out and saying that they're going to do their own TV channel for the games. So effectively, that's coming as an app or something. So effectively, I've cancelled my MLB. It was going to kick in the 1st of March. So I've cancelled that because I don't want to pay that and then not be able to watch the Braves. So there's a lot of things happening at the moment in the Braves world. So we just need to stand back and watch and see what happens. To be honest, I love Bally South. I thought Bally South was great. You really got the Atlanta voice, and whenever there was a game on CBS or one of the other channels, I just didn't like it. I liked the local guys. So again, it's these are the wee things that unless you're following the team, you won't know what's happening, mate. So So
this is going to be fun because you're kind of getting me excited to kind of, as I say, I'm more of a basketball than a baseball guy myself, but that's the beauty of it. I don't know if I'll ever convince you to watch some hoops, but I'll get back into a bit of baseball. Not a problem.
Mate, I will say, when you've got Ronald Acuna Jr. in your team, mate, it's all good, mate. The guy's phenomenal. You've got Matt Olson. You know what I mean? You've got the backbone of last year. They've added quite a few players. You know what I mean? So effectively, it'll be nice to get back into it, mate, because like last year was a disaster. It was a terrible year for the Braves. And
like as we say for our Falcons, when it's been a disappointing year, there's nowhere but up. Good night to another PR. Thank you for joining us. You go get that dinner prepped, and we'll hopefully catch you on another show real soon, buddy.
dinner. I'm thinking about bed.
Oh,
It's 10 past 10 over here, mate. So
yeah, it's a good shout. Like, we had our dinner before we came on. We got fueled, and no, as I say, and then we've got one from C. Duttlinger here as well. Love free agency talk. What do you guys think about signing a cornerback like Greg Newsome? Think he would be a great cornerback number 2. I like Greg Newsome. I've also got eyes on, I think it's Jalen Watson, the corner from Boundary Corner from KC. I liked him. I think he's 6'2", 208, and he's got really long arms, so he's going to be a good boundary protector opposite AJ as well. If you've not looked, but yeah, that's kind of, as we say, what next steps are going to be: free agency, draft, all that good stuff. So that's as good a point as any. Now that you've kind of put us in mind for that, if you guys want to be part of that, there's always more dirty birdie work needing done. As you all know, so what we'll kind of do, as I say, give us a subscribe on the new channel at SF Sports. And if you want to be part of the Kilted Revolution, all you'll need to do is get in contact through the socials with Des and I or Maggie. Open yourself up to the Stateside team as well. Because, as I say, it's a bigger network, a huge network, and it's getting bigger all the time with new shows, new projects, all that good stuff. So, as I say, if you want to join us for draft and free agency, all that good talk, give me an ad on Facebook. Just that'll be my Sunday name. So William Waddle, WADDELL. Or you can, as I say, find me at Will the Thrill on X as well. Just let us know you want to come on. We'll get you on. We'll get the band-aid off, so to speak. And you can earn your kilt. So as I say, lots of good stuff coming up for the guys that want to be involved. You know what to do. But as Des said, it is getting on a little bit. As I say, drop the red and blacks if you do want to see the Super Bowl party tomorrow. And it means that if you've not doing anything for the big game, you can spend it with us. But yeah, in terms of closing thoughts, just thank you all again so much for, as Des says, keeping us company. It's not been the smoothest road at times, but we're Falcons. We're used to.
Yeah.
As I say, we're not used to. They don't let us have nice things, but we keep grinding all the same. But we will wish you peace out and remind you, as always, how much we love our ATL here at the Scottish Falcons show. So this might be the last show of the season, but it ain't the last show out of us. So good night, Dirty Birds. And Des, my brother, why don't you take us home?
Yeah, so as I coined before when I spoke about all the pain that we've felt in the last 10, 15 years, I had said that pain is international, so we feel it as much as you do, but we're also as passionate. So pain is international, but so is passion. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.